What's so special about tax that we needed to do a whole video about why you should take a tax class? I'm Leandra Lederman.
And I'm Allison Christians.
And it's time to break into tax. There are a lot of misconceptions about tax, and there's also some ignorance about what tax courses cover. So we thought we would make this video and include input from a lot of other professors regarding why you should consider taking a tax class.
You might have been told that you should take a tax class because it's like spinach. It's just good for you. Or maybe somebody told you you should take a tax class because that's what everybody does. We're here to give you 10 really good reasons to take a tax class.
And without further ado, here are the Lederman and Christians' top 10 reasons to take a tax class. Number 10.
Tax touches every aspect of your life from the cradle to the grave.
No matter what area that you practice in, tax is going to affect you. Don't you want to know something about it? And don't you want to be able to help your clients?
Tax is all around us. Tax influences so many things.
You think that you're going to take environmental law? What if the tax law interferes with the goals you have in environmental law? You won't know that unless you take a tax class. You think you're interested in human rights? What if it's the tax law that's preventing people from realizing their rights? That's why you should take a tax class to find out. I think that is interesting that tax class is about that. It's interacting, it's laying on top of so many other topics so that anytime you're interested in some topic, it actually makes a lot of sense to go find out what's going on in the tax world relative to that topic.
Yeah, and sometimes the tax law can be a tool to accomplish those other goals. The tax law could potentially be used to help clean up the environment or improve human rights.
Yeah, exactly. It's a carrot and stick kind of situation, and the tax law can be both of those things. I think that can be surprising sometimes that what you're struggling to achieve really it hinges on what the tax law is doing somewhere else in the universe.
Number 9.
If you're interested in seeing how money works in our society, for transactions, for the structure of society, tax is where it's at, you should take it.
Vergi, demokratik ve adaletli bir toplumun ayrılmaz parçasıdır.
Taxation is the very essence of our organizational society.
Lo propio de las sociedades avanzadas no es que haya que pagar impuestos, sino que estos impuestos estén sometidos a un marco de referencia y a unos fines. Para entender cuál es el marco de referencia y los fines propios de las sociedades más avanzadas, necesitamos estudiar derecho financiero.
Number 8.
A lot of students go to law school thinking about social justice issues and may not really connect that the tax system is actually where a lot of those social justice issues play out.
If you're someone who cares about the redistribution of wealth, you should take a tax class.
Why should you take tax? Do you care about justice? Do you care about economic inequality? Do you care about fairness and wealth disparity? If you answer yes to any of these questions, you should take tax.
You should take tax because you want to advocate for fairness in all aspects of the law.
To understand the discussion on fairness, what is a fair share? Do multinationals pay their fair share? What do the countries do to ensure that multinationals pay their fair share?
Trying to pursue social policy and justice goals without understanding tax is fighting with one hand tied behind your back.
Number 7.
If you're thinking about going into the commercial corporate business world, having tax knowledge will make you a stronger lawyer.
Every good business, every prosperous business runs on the knowledge of tax law, so you can optimize your tax burden and keep more of the money as a reward for your hard work, right?
Number 6.
To understand why developing countries need to collect revenue and what is this about tax for development, how tax can contribute to development and the sustainable development goals.
It's probably obvious that economic development is about money. And so probably there's some connection to tax. Maybe people already know that there's got to be some connection. But I think taking a tax class will really drive this home.
Number 5.
Talvez você ainda não tenha se dado conta, mas o direito tributário impacta nossas vidas diariamente e é muitas das vezes determinante para o sucesso ou fracasso de outras áreas do direito. A resolução de problemas tributários consiste em entender como as mais complexas relações sociais e econômicas são traduzidas e regulamentadas pelo sistema jurídico. E isso, em essência, é compreender o papel do direito.
Even if you don't decide to become a tax lawyer, having a good foundational knowledge of tax will help you be a better, more informed labour lawyer, a better corporate lawyer, a better litigator, a better real estate lawyer. The list goes on.
Number 4.
When you're reading codes, it really helps to understand the background. That's what you achieve when you take a tax class.
Being good at tax law is a marketable skill. So some people take their first tax class and then they go on and they take many more tax classes, and they can use that to practice tax as a career.
Number 3.
Being a tax lawyer, you will meet such smart, interesting people devoted to their subject, because tax lawyers are simply the best.
Diversity makes us smarter, and tax demands all the smarts that we have.
I think that there might be some people in the world who think, I know what a tax lawyer looks like. That's somebody wearing a green eye shade with traditional ideas about who's good at math and that sort of thing. You know, we really need to change that.
Everyone should consider going into tax, and the start of that is taking a tax class.
Number 2.
People take the basic tax class and they find their career. So that could be you, and you won't know until you take the class.
I have been reporting for tax notes for about 10 years now, and before I started the job, I had zero tax experience whatsoever. In fact, I was doing fashion reporting before doing this job. I really fell in love with it, so give it a chance. It worked out for me, and it might work out for you.
And the number 1 reason you should take a tax class is
tax is fun.
A lot of students who come in with trepidation find that they really love the material. Tax is interesting, it's challenging, it's like a creative puzzle, it's a lot of fun.
I think it's sometimes surprising to students that they find it fun. You know, they think, oh, I'm going to read a statute, this is not going to be interesting, but actually understanding that it's like a puzzle is a revelation to students. They start to love it.
Everyone should take tax because of the jokes, obviously.
I think
that you should take tax.
Ellen April from Loyola Law School.
Leyla Ateş, Professor of Tax Law and Dean at Istanbul Altınbaş University Faculty of Law.
Professor Jeremy Barafran from George Washington University Law School.
Jennifer Bird Polan, Robert G. Lawson Professor of Law at the University of Kentucky, J. David Rosenberg College of Law.
Caroline Chen, tax professor at San Jose State.
Stephen Dean from Brooklyn Law School.
Maiku Díaz de Terán, profesora de la Facultad de Derecho de la Universidad de Navarra.
Amanda Deset, lawyer in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and host of the Tax Chick podcast and the founder of the Tax Chick blog.
David Damage at Indiana University Maurer School of Law.
Stephanie Geringer, researcher in the Department of Tax Law at the University of Vienna.
Stephanie Sung Johnston with Tax Notes.
Ceci Denise Magalhães, professor of law at the University of Antwerp.
Ruth Mason, Edwin S. Cohen, Distinguished Professor of Law and Taxation at the University of Virginia School of Law.
Stephen Mazza, tax professor at the University of Kansas, also serve as the dean.
Irma Mosquera, associate professor of tax law at the Faculty of Law, University of Leiden in the Netherlands.
Rachel O'Connor, lecturer in law at the University of Leeds.
Dr. Leopoldo Brada, lecturer in tax law at the University of Leeds.
Angie Raymond, Indiana University, the Kelley School of Business.
Blaine Saito, assistant professor of law at the Northeastern University School of Law.
Samuel Singer at the University of Ottawa.